You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
Pharmacist for details.
Star OU running back and NFL player Samaje Perine understands competition and what it takes to be the best. And that's exactly what he found when he shopped at Diamonds Direct, thanks to a recommendation from other NFL players.
I've heard from coaches and players and even peers that Diamonds Direct is the best place to go to if you're looking for a ring. The customer service is bar none. They made it extremely comfortable and extremely simple because I know absolutely nothing about jewelry. They're extremely helpful and they broke things down to the very basic. It made it, enjoyable.
But it wasn't just the experience that impressed Samaje. The no middleman pricing blew him away.
We got a very good bargain for, what we went in for. I feel like we didn't pay him enough, but but I'll take it anytime.
Oh, but he'll be back to spend more and get that unmatched pricing.
Diamonds Direct is going to be in our lives a lot from here on out. If you're a fan of mine and you're looking for an engagement ring or a great value, Diamonds Direct would be the definite place to go.
Diamonds Direct on North Penn across from Penn Square Mall. $110% upgrade policy, of course.
I personally have one client. When I first started working here, she bought a pair of studs for me. We have now upgraded her 6 times. She has 3-carat studs.
That's Diamonds Direct Sarah Oldham with a real-life example of how it works. You buy a diamond today, keep it for at least a year, and you get 110% of your original purchase price back anytime you upgrade, regardless of how much larger you decide to go.
When I first started working here, she came in about a 1/2-carat pair of round brilliant studs, and she has upgraded 6 times. We are now at 3 carats.
So with the original purchase price and the extra 10% back plus a few extra dollars, it's easy to go bigger.
Every time she had a Christmas bonus, one time on Valentine's Day, just whenever she had extra money, we did the upgrade.
Next thing you know, your 1/2-carat earrings are 3 carats. Wow.
Everybody wants bigger diamonds. I say go for it.
Diamonds Direct. Unbeatable selection, uncompromising quality, unrivaled value, and the most unbelievable warranties and guarantees in the industry. On North Penn.
My husband, my daughter, and I were injured in a car wreck. It wasn't our fault, but the other driver's insurance company refused to take responsibility. We weren't looking to get rich. We just needed our medical bills paid and to get our life back. Laird Hammonds Laird took our case to trial and won, because this was about community safety and holding people responsible. My family received justice thanks to the hard work done by Laird Hammonds Laird.
This is Chris Hammonds. Call 703-4567 or visit lhllaw.com.
Are you ready for FlexStack Advanced? Men, welcome to the show. It's a winner take all. Who will have the strength? Who will have the drive? Who will win the battle? Well, the answer just might be who uses the new most advanced FlexStack ever. Only found at Draper Family GNC. Packed with clinically tested test effect, shown to raise your free testosterone, giving you raw power, extra energy, and helping you burn off that stubborn body fat. The new formula has 2 newcomers to the show. Black Maca, which just might give you that libido boost you've been looking for, and boron citrate, a scientifically studied ingredient to help you power through the day, shooting up your testosterone while suppressing that nasty estrogen. Men, it's time to win the game. Get to Draper Family GNC and get started today with our new and strongest ever FlexStack Advanced.
FlexStack is great paired with Tamiflex, GNC's new breakthrough in joint health, clinically proven to help you feel better in just 2 weeks.
The last time you moved, you had to pack up everything and load it up and literally move it, and that's no fun. Sooner Indian Motorcycles is moving and will not pack up anything. Get to Sooner Indian Motorcycles and take advantage of special pricing on everything. The helmet, the jacket, the bike, everything is on sale, even the used motorcycles. Get to Sooner Indian Motorcycles today before someone else buys your motorcycle. Sooner Indian Motorcycles, just east of I-35 on Main Street in Norman. Never drink and drive, and always wear your helmet.
At Mill Creek Carpet and Tile, they believe a healthy family and clean home is everything. They also know that older floors often host pesky germs and allergens, which is why they want to help you take your spring cleaning to the next level with Shaw Luxury Vinyl Plank Floors. Waterproof, scratch-proof, and spring clean-approved flooring, perfect for keeping your home crisp, clean, and beautiful this spring. Visit Mill Creek Carpet and Tile at their Ardmore location for an in-home measure and design consultation on the house.
It's a new year at Stonehorse Crossing Luxury Apartments. Take a tour today and experience the modern luxury available to Stonehorse residents. Stonehorse Apartments offers fully equipped kitchens, coffee and tea bar, and an internet cafe. Stonehorse Luxury Apartments near May Memorial. Now at Stonehorse, get up to $1,000 at move-in. That's $1,000. Visit the specialized leasing agents at Stonehorse Luxury Apartments, just east of May Avenue on Mezzaluna Boulevard, with access from May, Penn, and Northwest 150th.
Express Device Repair is your #1 source for your mobile device repair needs. They offer quality repair service on mobile phones, tablets, and other consumer electronics with old-school customer service. All of Express Device Repair technicians have extensive experience, and they only use OEM-certified parts. Express Device Repair caters to walk-in customers as well as offers contract repair service for your business repair needs. Walk into Express Device Repair today at 13325 North MacArthur or call 405-792-4000.
10 Gym's grand finale ends midnight tonight. Join 10 Gym for a penny, 1 cent, then only $10 month to month, no contract. Final day grand finale. Join 10 Gym Basic for a penny, 1 cent, then it's only $10 a month, no contract, no commitment. 10 Gym's grand finale ends midnight tonight.
Rachel here. I got my first month free. I joined 10 Gym Preferred for a penny, 1 cent. My first month's free, and I can take a guest to 10 Gym for free every day, every time. I get all 10 Gym locations open 24 hours, free classes, free tanning, saunas, and available childcare. My husband loves the massive full-line free-weighted core stretch areas.
10 Gym grand finale. Join 10 Gym or at 10gym.com for a penny. 1 cent, your first month's free. Final hours. Join any 10 Gym or at 10gym.com for a penny. Only 1 cent, your first month's free. Ends midnight tonight.
With spring right around the corner, now is the best time to consider membership at the Greens Country Club. Members at the Greens enjoy no minimums and no assessments while engaging in an array of activities on and off the course. Enroll now in golf, tennis, or social and receive significant savings on your joining fee. Whether you're looking to play golf on our renovated championship layout, hone your tennis skills in our 6 indoor and outdoor tennis courts, stick to your New Year's resolution in our fitness center, or lounge poolside this spring and summer, the Greens offers something for the whole family. Looking to connect with others in the community? The club offers a wide variety of social events for all ages, including wine-paired dinners, family game nights, networking events, kids' night out, and so much more. The all-new Twisted Oak Tavern provides exceptional farm-to-table food and specialty cocktails in a stylish new environment. We boast the #1 tennis program in the state, host an array of organized leagues and events on and off the course, and most importantly, continue to invest in the future of the club. Enroll between now and April 1st and save as much as $2,500. For more info or to schedule a tour, contact the membership department at 405-751-6266 or visit thegreenscc.com.
KOKC Talk Radio's new generation. It's time to rise above.
I struggled with addiction for many years, and the initial surrender, hey, I give up, that rock bottom. You know, everybody has different points in their life. Whatever gets you there, whatever gets you to the room, you've earned your seat.
You're listening to Rise Above Radio.
My daughter is amazing when she's not on drugs or alcohol. I mean, you can't imagine how beautiful and talented and loving and giving. I wish everybody listening would understand it's not the person. It truly is the drugs and alcohol that takes away everything that's good and beautiful.
There's addicts out there that need help, and I just feel bad for the people that don't have the support system that we have. Got to reach out. Just got to reach out and take a chance.
I just want to speak to the fact that what you're doing here with this radio station, and I promise you, right now, there is somebody listening because of your efforts and what you're doing. You're saving their life.
I want them to know I thank them from the bottom of my heart for giving me my son his life back. Do not stop. There's more lives that needs to be saved.
Be a part of Rise Above Radio at 405-478-1520
and 1-866-530-5662. This is Rise Above Radio on KOKC.
All right, welcome into the show. It's Rise Above Radio. You heard the big boy Sky, 95.3 FM, 1520 AM.
for Talk Radio's New Generation. You can also check us out on Facebook, KOKC Radio. We'll share the Facebook Live there in a little bit. iHeart on the app, your Alexa device. Say, Alexa, enable KOKC Radio. My name is Max Mullings. During the week, I co-host the afternoon show with some good friends of mine. It's called The Ride, and I am a grateful alcoholic, man. My favorite thing to do, honestly, is this show right here. Hopefully we just inspire, not impress. We aim to be effective, not famous. And every Saturday, man, it's one of my favorite things to do, and especially when I've got guys in the studio like Jason Franks and Chris Goodson. Jason is with Chance to Change. Jason, you've been on the show before. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah. You got some big things coming up in store for you guys. You have your big event here right around the corner.
Yeah, we have Celebration of Recovery coming up on March 27th. That's a week from this next Wednesday, and it is our annual. It's just that. It's our annual Celebration of Recovery. We're going to honor a gentleman named Tony Say, who's been really involved in the recovery world for most of his life. Yeah. And it's just a really cool event. Man, it's awesome. I went last year, and for a drunk like me that just happens to not drink anymore, it's what a trip it is to be invited, to be able to go in the company of all of you guys doing that stuff, man. Yeah. It's tremendous. Well, and it really, as far as an agency, it really provides us with a huge portion of our budget. So, yeah, right. You know, it gives us the opportunity to do what we do all year long. And for what it's worth, you guys do it in a really classy way. Thank you. I went to one just recently where it was, hey, don't forget those envelopes on your table there, man. Don't forget, you can put some funds in there. Don't forget, put some dead presidents in that envelope. Don't forget, we'll take money and donations. Don't forget. And it was like, wow, dude. Wow. You're driving it home. It's like, so you guys do one heck of a job, man. And my wife was pregnant at the time, so she could not eat the feta cheese on the salad. So she's excited to be able to eat the feta cheese this time. So whatever that's worth as well. Well, and my wife really enjoys it too. It's one of her favorite times of year. So it's a really cool experience. Yeah, guys like you, we clean up all right. We clean up pretty good sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes. So we're gonna get your story, brother. Thanks for coming on again. I know that you've been on before, and you and I it's funny how this whole thing works, because you and I, we have maybe been at the same event a time or two. Sure. Not events that promote recovery by any means. Right. Yeah. Right. So, and it was funny because I was talking to my brother about how I remember being at like an apartment complex one time. Nothing happened, but it was like, yeah, I know that dude, man. There's that guy. Yeah. No, we ran in a lot of the same circles. Yeah. Kind of on the outskirts of hanging with each other, right? Man, what a better way it is to be now, dude. Sure. I'm telling you what. I like hanging with you a lot better like this. I know, man. I know, without a doubt. And Chris Goodson joins us. And Chris, he and I don't know each other from Adam, just on the Book of Faces there, dude. But you shared a before and after one day, and I was like, brother, I got to get you on the show, man. So I'm glad you're able to come in, man. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here. We've got Catherine's going to be calling in from Arizona. March is Gambling Awareness Month, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted Jason to come back, not only because he's a cool cat, but Chance to Change. You guys do a lot of really cool stuff for gambling addiction that some may not even be aware. In 2017, the Tulsa Beacon did a survey, a study, whatever, and in 2017, and Oklahoma was number 7 in the country for gambling addiction. And you probably know way more than I do about the statistics and everything, but sure. I mean, you look at it. There's a casino on every corner. Sure. I mean, honestly, they keep adding them, right? And that doesn't surprise me at all. I'm actually, the 7 number seems kind of high to me, right? Or, like, I figured we'd be a little higher than that, but no, it's just. I think I was telling you earlier that like half of my caseload right now, I think, is gambling clients. So it's just something we deal with. I deal with it on a daily basis, I think. Like, at least one client a day. Probably. Do you find often that it's paired with another? Yeah, I mean, I think if there's no substance issues, and for a lot there are, I think it's usually connected with trauma. There's a big, correlation with trauma and gambling. But I mean, just the mental health issues maybe before, or definitely causes them during and after. Yeah. So, but yeah, I would say it's paired with a lot of
it co-occurs, to use the language.
Right.
With a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it, it's funny. I made the joke one time to a buddy of mine. We were in Vegas, and so I had posted up, and I was playing the slots and all that. And this guy, any poker game, whatever it is, man, he would jump right in, and so he like buying in or whatever. So he came over and he was kind of teasing me a little bit. Because he's like, why are you wasting your money on this slot machine, dude? It's only like $70-$80 to buy in the game, and I'm already up, and yada, yada, yada. And so I was like, dude, I'm up, too, because I found the cocktail entrance. And so, like, I've already had 5 imports and 3 shots of Jaeger, dude. I'm kicking Vegas's biscuit right now, man.
Yeah.
And that for me, that was like, we'll go to the casino. Yeah, dude, as long as I can sit next to wherever you're playing and have drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's funny because one vice may not be the our drug of choice or addiction of choice or whatever.
Yeah, well, and I just think there's a lot of times people transfer.
Yeah, right.
Between the two. One of the things for me is those of us, Chance Change is a contracted agency with the state to do this type of counseling. But all of us at a Chance to Change that do it, we had to go through a 30-hour training, and as an addict, as someone in recovery from substances, I'm sitting in that training hearing some of the attributes and aspects going, wow, like, this sounds really familiar to me.
Right.
So, I mean, even though there's nuances and proprietary stuff between gambling and substance abuse that makes them different, there is really a lot of stuff that makes them very similar as far as, definitely the brain chemistry going on, but just little nuances and things like that.
Yeah.
It's addiction.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Right. It's gambling we're talking about, but yet it's a sign of some kind of spiritual bankruptcy, if you will, or whatever it is. I mean, for me, somebody said it to me, like, your addiction is a sign of your spiritual bankruptcy, and man, they nailed it right on it,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Hey, so Chris, what about, was gambling ever your thing, bro, or did you kind of look at it like I did, like, we can go to the casino, but I'll just,
Yeah, gambling was a thing at one time. I actually had some time in Vegas, when I was staying there and traveling a lot. So being in the casinos and having, I loved money, had an addiction to money almost.
Right,
I couldn't get enough of it. And so, with an addictive personality, of course, you go to slot machines and play some poker, and you start to lose. You want to keep winning, and if you lose, you want to sell some stuff that you have so you can get some money to play again. And so it's it's a never-ending cycle unless you make the choice to want to change. And so I didn't have a huge problem with it, but being that I had an addictive personality, it became a problem. And so I really had to just identify it, and that's why I didn't do too well in the casinos, because I wasn't really a winner too much. So
Oh man, me and you both, dude. You and I would be walking out with our losing our shorts, dude.
Yeah.
Like, But you just made me think it was kind of a convenience to my drinking, sort of. You know what I mean? Like like UFC fights, man. If you said, hey, I'm buying the UFC fight, okay, cool. I don't really know anything about MMA. I don't really follow the fights anymore, but you got booze and I'll be there.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's like a convenience kind of thing to cater towards the drinking. Yeah.
Yeah, concerts, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like just the event to do it at.
Right. Well, Chris, let's jump right into it, brother. Who is Chris Goodson? As I told you when the show started, man, you share whatever it is that you want to share, dude. And we are aiming to just inspire just the one. So somebody may not remember your name, but they'll sure by golly remember your story, man. So
yeah. Well, I'm from Oklahoma City. I was born in Oklahoma City. Not going too far in depth, just being raised as a kid, and I think every kid wants that love and support from their parents, and so I didn't really, I had some trouble with my father, and went through some, just some abusive behaviors in that situation, and that just led to a dark place for me, and so what I sought out was really acceptance. I think in addiction. I think a lot of people have that pain that they don't really know how to cope with, and people will channel that in different ways. Yeah. And me, I just hung around a group of people that accepted me. At least I thought they did, and that's what led to gangs and being on the streets. And so I started selling drugs at a very young age. I was about 14, 15. Involved in gangs, running the streets. And it just led to a lot of chaos in my life. I was homeless at one time, and being homeless on the streets, I completely understand, with what people are going through. And, I did get out of the streets at around age 19, 20. I dropped out my sophomore year of high school, like I said earlier. And whenever I left the streets, the addiction never stopped. And so it got pretty heavy, got involved in nightlife. At age 26, I started taking opiates, and that's really when it hit the fan.
Yeah.
Got pretty heavy, and then led to heroin use and a lot of cocaine use. And so tried to commit suicide a few times, and overdosed 3 times, and it's just wasn't ending. Right. I like to think I was pretty selfish, and really what changed for me was God seemed to have a bigger plan than what I could see at that time. Yeah. And I was stuck in a hard situation when I ran out of chances. I was in and out of jail plenty of times, even as a juvenile. I've been to, jail tons of times. And I just came to a point where I had no more chances almost, and I was stuck in a hard spot, and I was in jail, and there was a situation that had risen with a guy that I knew from the streets. Mm-hmm. And at that time when I did know him, we had a lot of beef and a lot of arguments, and so it was more over street stuff. And he came in, and a lot of things stirred up. Well, I was in a situation when, I almost got killed. Right. Not to go too much in detail, but at that time I really thought, the times that I've tried to commit suicide, it didn't work. I really thought that time that I was going.
Right.
I was in jail. There wasn't any guards in there at that time because I had being in there long enough, I had the opportunity to be out, and so I had some privileges.
Yeah.
And I was cleaning the pod, and that's when a guard came in at just the right time, and the guy had actually got out of his cell, and whenever the guard came in, he went back to his cell, and that guard had a piece of paper, and he asked me if I was Chris Goodson. I said, yeah. And he said, well, I need you to pack your stuff because you're leaving today.
Wow.
I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have any money to bond out of jail. I didn't even have an attorney at the time. I was kind of clueless, and I asked him, what was the reason? He says, well, do you want to stay here or do you want to go? And I said, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, yeah.
So, in the midst of that, when I had all these guys out, one guy had a knife, and I thought that was my time. It's like my heart completely surrendered. And I wanted to know if I was going to go to heaven.
Right, yeah, man.
And I believe God heard me, and that guard came in. So I didn't get to go home. I had to go to another county, go sit out my case. But I left that day, and I don't really believe in coincidences. I believe that God has a plan for everybody's life. And it's hard for people to see that. Mm-hmm. But it seems that God can take somebody with all their mess, with their wrecked up lives, and He can use it for His greater purpose. Yeah. And that's what He's done to me. So now the life that I live today, I understand why through the 3 times of overdosing He kept me here, why through the 2 times of trying to commit suicide He kept me here, and then why He saved me that day.
Right.
And then now I get to help people find that same hope.
Yeah.
And you just got to want it. And in 2011, June 4th, that was the last day that I used drugs. But I've tried to get sober plenty of times. Mm-hmm. Rock bottom just hit. Rock bottom's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So, but that was my rock bottom day.
Yeah. When you the opioids, segueing into the heroin, was it because the opioids became unavailable or too much money and stuff, so that it became heroin was just the natural next thing?
Heroin is cheaper.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It was cheaper. The opioids, like you said, is an expensive habit.
Yeah.
It was. Met somebody. They introduced me to heroin and tried it, and that was it.
Yeah, I think that's important for people because because it is how is this even possible, man?
Yeah.
And we all know that addiction is an equal opportunity destroyer, man. It doesn't care
Yeah.
about your social status. It doesn't care about your bank account. It doesn't care about your race, whatever it is, man. But that is an example of how, the opioids, kid breaks leg, kids get prescription, kid gets hooked, prescription's up, and then next thing you know, can't afford whatever, and then heroin's the next,
Yeah.
And then the world we live in now, unfortunately, how big of a deal this thing is that it's laced with fentanyl. And I read just the other day that a 14-year-old kid overdosed from fentanyl.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's became a very, very huge epidemic. 3 of my best friends that I hung around with all died from overdose.
Sorry,
and so, out of all the people that I hung around with, I've had 11 friends die. 11 friends. 3 of them were my best friends. And had a lot of friends, been in prison. I've been in prison, been to jail a bunch of times. And, it's a deadly disease.
Yeah.
Addiction, it really is. And just the way, it has risen to be such a high epidemic, it's hard.
Yeah.
It really is. Just the other day, I actually watched a movie called Ben Is Home, I believe.
Oh, man, I haven't seen that, but yeah.
Wow.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it really, if anybody on here, is listening, they have struggled with addiction or are still struggling with addiction, you can watch that movie and really relate.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. It's
That's what
really
I heard.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. You at the beginning of your story, you were talking about being accepted and things like that, man. And it just, I know for me, my mind will put these expectations, like I've got to do this. People expect me to do this. Jason and Chris are thinking I'll be this and that and the other. And especially, an active alcoholism for me, plus thinking my identity lived in radio. I got to be in this town. I got to work on this station. I got to have this many listeners and all that. And so I totally get it, man. Like for me, it was fitting right in. And if I didn't fit in, well, then I'll drink and that'll make it better. And I'll feel like I can fit in. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the one thing that people really want to feel is love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love.
Yeah.
And, it's a huge thing. We don't have to try to do all these things to seek it. I never knew what love was until God really showed me. Right. And, we just have to receive it. He comes with open arms.
I thought my thing for me is that, God loves you. One of those things that I would kind of roll my eye on and say, for me, it was like there's an asterisk there. Like everybody except you because you're not doing it right.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, like my rock bottom and everything, it was sort of like it just all made sense that I was kind of like, all right, man, I think I'm going to love you back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you've been looking at me the whole time, and I think I'm finally going to understand that I need to love you back and just let you have it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that moment of surrender and everything, man. And it's hard. Each one of us have it different. I don't know what. If you asked me what was it all, what were you thinking, and how did it all go? And I'm like, I don't know. All I know is I was staring down at like a dry sandwich in the waiting room, a dark waiting room, trying to detox in the hospital after a night of thinking about ending my life, man. And it was like sort of it all just went,
yeah.
And I took inventory. I looked down and looked at this dry sandwich and this juice box and everything. Oh, no doubt. Yeah, seriously, dude. And I was in this dark waiting room because I'd done something in the night that actually they chose to move me from my little bed in the ER where I was detoxing to, okay, drunken McSwerve McGillicuddy, we'll move you to this. So
dark
they moved,
corner.
Yeah, so they put baby in the corner, man. I was in this dark waiting room, sleeping on a couch, plastic couch and everything too. But I don't know, dude, they brought me the food. And my brain went, you know what? Either if you don't knock it off, you're either going to be locked up or you're going to be dead.
Yeah.
We say sobered up, locked up, or covered up. And so I just went, get used to it, because if you keep doing this, man, you're going to be eating stuff like this for a long time.
Yeah.
And man, and it was just, and it's despair is a blessing in those moments. Because finally, when you feel like it's all going to be okay, but it really makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
That it will be okay, but it does, right?
Yeah.
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 It's Rise Above Radio on 95.3 FM, 1520 AM. We're Talk Radio's New Generation. That's Chris Goodson. We got Jason Franks, and then we'll be joined on the phone from Arizona. Catherine's going to chime in. March is Gambling Awareness Month, but your calls are always welcome. That's what this show is for, man. It's an open platform. Share your stories, or hopefully you can get be inspired to get the help that you need. So 405-478-1520. Quick break, and we'll be back after this on KOKC.
To tell you everything's A-okay. Medication don't do much. Yeah, it just numbs the brain. Guess you might say I'm a little intense. I'm on the bright side of being hell-bent. So, take it from me, you're not the only one who can't see straight. If you were ever in doubt, don't sell yourself short. You might be bulletproof. Hard to move mountains when you're paralyzed, but you gotta try. And I'm calling out, get up, get up, get up, move on. Get up, what's taking so long? Get up, get up, move on. Stop.
Thank you for listening to Talk Radio's New Generation, KOKC.
It's Mark Bravo here for the Marathon Minute, and I have with me today Sam Mays, a radio personality with Tyler Media, host of the Triple M Ranch. Sam, great to get to visit with you again. We don't do it that often.
Yeah, no question. I'm excited to be here and obviously talking about something that is about as a unique sporting experience as I've ever had. The Oklahoma City Marathon is incredible.
You shared with me where you've come on this couple of year journey or so. Down 180 pounds roughly.
I thought, why not run the half marathon? And this is a 400-pound man thinking he's going to get out there and run 13 miles. But through some great support from the marathon, some great support from some businesses here in Oklahoma City that are involved with the marathon, I found a way to train and get myself to the shape I need to be in to run 13 miles. And it was one of my greatest sports accomplishments.
Sam Mays, Triple M Ranch host, thanks so much for being a part of this race once again.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
All right, Mark Bravo for the Marathon Minute.
Warning, if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-900-6131. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible, without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-900-6131. That's 1-800-900-6131. 1-800-900-6131.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4343 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4343. Enjoy!
Star OU running back and NFL player Samaje Perine understands competition and what it takes to be the best. And that's exactly what he found when he shopped at Diamonds Direct, thanks to a recommendation from other NFL players.
I've heard from coaches and players and even peers that Diamonds Direct is the best place to go to if you're looking for a ring. The customer service is bar none. They made it extremely comfortable and extremely simple because I know absolutely nothing about jewelry. They're extremely helpful and they broke things down to the very basic. It made it, enjoyable.
But it wasn't just the experience that impressed Samaje. The no middleman pricing blew him away.
We got a very good bargain for, what we went in for. I feel like we didn't pay him enough, but but I'll take it anytime.
Oh, but he'll be back to spend more and get that unmatched pricing.
Diamonds Direct is going to be in our lives a lot from here on out. If you're a fan of mine and you're looking for an engagement ring or a great value, Diamonds Direct would be the definite place to go.
Diamonds Direct on North Penn across from Penn Square Mall.
Talk Radio's new generation, 1520 KOKC.
You're listening to Rise Above Radio.
Follow the show at Rise Above KOKC. Be a part of Rise Above Radio at 405-478-1520 and 1-866-530-5662. It's time to rise above.
Oh, man, and are we ever? Heard from Chris Goodson there in the first part. If you missed it, the video's up, KOKC Radio. You can check it out, man. What a great story, brother. I'm glad you're here, dude.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah, Jason Franks is here as well. Jason's with Chance to Change. You got a story of your own there, huh?
I do.
Yeah, but also you're in here because we're going to take a phone call from Catherine in Arizona here on the other side of the, starting out the second hour. And she's in recovery, gambling addiction. March is Gambling Awareness Month. Here we are with March Madness. Which that's another thing, too. Like, hey, do you want to do a bracket? No, but do you want to... Hey, Mac, do you want to go belly up to a bar at 11 to watch the first game of Dartmouth versus Pepperdine? Sure. Let's go, man. Yeah, why not? So we're going to hear from Kat. She's an author and everything, so she's going to contribute to the conversation and
that's
stuff.
Cool.
But, let's talk about... Jason, let's talk about you real fast, brother. What's your story? Who's Jason Franks, man?
Oh, man, that's a tough question because it's changing every day.
Right.
That's something that's so cool about recovery is, I was who I was when I was younger, and there's pieces of that, but I'm getting to figure out as God keeps bringing me through this journey, like who I really am. And it has a lot to do with, those around me, the choices I make, my experience. But, I grew up, pretty well. I didn't want for much. I mean, I didn't have everything I wanted, but I was definitely okay. Come from a divorced home. My dad, used substances, but he was a great dad. Even when him and my mother divorced, he was still in the picture. It's not like he took off. Right. So that actually even kind of made our home a little more peaceful. But that was about the time I was entering the nasty preteen years. Mm-hmm. And for me, and this is all post, thoughts, recovery work, therapy. At about 12, I kind of had this shock to the system. I talk to my clients and some of the other therapists I work with, talk about big T trauma, little T trauma. Big T trauma being, the stuff that everybody kind of thinks about when they hear the word, abuse, war, gang violence, something where you think, hey, I may not make it through this. Mm-hmm. But little T is kind of some of those events along our timeline where something is said, an event happens. It's not necessarily that. We kind of know we're going to live through it, but whatever is said or whatever framework it causes us to start building in our life, it just kind of makes our world fold in on itself.
True. Yeah.
So here I am about 12, and it's like from elementary school to junior high in good old Yukon, America. In elementary school, everybody's friends. It doesn't matter who your parents are, how much money they make, whether you play sports or not. Everybody's just friends. All the boys and girls are friends. But when you get to junior high, these little cliques start developing. And I wasn't rich. Like I said, I was taken care of, but I didn't have the Kohans or,
Sure, yeah.
But anyway, I was kind of shy, not tall, not big, not sports material. So I wasn't really popular. And there was a friend of mine that was, and we had been friends in elementary school. No offense to him, but, I felt rejected by him. Like I saw him, he was hooking up with another guy from another school. Right. I know hindsight, they had been friends for longer than we had. He had known him from baseball and stuff like that. But I looked at it as a rejection. Right, he didn't see me.
Right.
You know, so
like a relationship going the other way from what it was. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I made a determination right there, like, that's not going to happen to me.
Right.
I mean, like I said, this is all post-work. I don't really remember, you know, having that determination then. But that's kind of what I did. I said, you know, people are going to accept me. And I don't think that's wrong. You know, I talk with clients and people about sometimes the desires or the needs or the holes we try to fill with drugs, those in themselves aren't wrong. It's just we use bad stuff to try to fill them. And at the time, I didn't start. But I think it was that determination for me that I'll do anything for people to pay attention to me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Now that I look back, that's my addiction.
Right.
I'll do anything for people to pay attention to me. It took me, you know, about 3 years to find drugs, and when I did, alcohol, cigarettes, you know, marijuana, they made me comfortable. They made people pay attention to me. They started feeding that real addiction.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was kind of like I'll do whatever it is in front of me just to fit in, kind of thing.
Sure.
Right.
Let's get crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, into young adulthood, when I was, you know, when ran around with my friend group, you know, sold drugs and did some of the more sensational stuff, you know, joined the band, the garage band, and I mean, it just continued to feed that ego.
Right.
You know, they started calling me J-Dog, and I mean, don't give somebody like that a nickname, because then it's like, boom, here's this persona that's been tacked onto me.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with all that now. I mean, I've done some work. I've integrated both sides of my life.
Right.
But I mean, back then I was in a whirlwind with all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
like the you know, drinking and drugging isn't our problem. It's the solution to a lot of things that we.
Yeah.
You know, because I was saying, like me, for fitting in or having you like me, you know, and I would that way. And so, like, just like you, you wanted to be accepted, want to be fitting in, you know.
Yeah.
And we all, man, some person, you know, it is you. Come on, brother. Yes, we do. And like you said, Chris, at the end of the day, everybody just wants to be loved and appreciated. Yeah, they do. And so whatever that kind of void, you fill it in, whether it's you know, relationship or with a friend because the attention went to other people or whatever it is. I mean, it's all right there.
Well, and when I finally got my act together, I mean, I gave my life to God, to Christ, and you know, started sobering up. But then I was led to Celebrate Recovery in my church, of course, by some people that knew that's where I should be. And I mean, when I got there and started doing my first 12 steps, stuff like that, it's like, what's your problem? And I would be like, hey, haven't you heard a word I'm saying? It's like, obviously drugs and alcohol. Like, are you listening to my story?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what they meant. What's the root?
What's the what's the why? Yeah.
You're here to dig deep, brother, and that's where I found that stuff. Like, you know.
How do you working now in you know, on the front lines, if you will, of recovery and stuff, man? I know you're a humble guy. You don't look at it that way, but and both you cats. So how do you help somebody try to find their why?
Whew. For me, you know, we get to sit with people, you know, for 3 or 4 times and do lots of assessment type stuff, even before we get together their plan. But I mean, I like to let them know that, you know, this plan for your treatment here is yours. It's not mine. We're here to achieve the things you want to achieve, and maybe try to give a comfortable atmosphere where they can kind of start sharing not only the dark stuff in the past, but their strengths, their passions. And I just feel like if they trust me, and that's a big if, and that's important to me, then that's going to start coming out. And we're going to start kind of purposely saying, hey, you know, going back, whatever it takes. You know, when's the first time you felt like that? Usually somebody will, you know, I've been blessed with a lot of clients that were willing to kind of go back and be real with that. I mean, just however you kind of get back to the root. I mean, usually someone's first use is kind of telling, you know, what was going on at that time.
Right, yeah.
You know, what was going on in your life maybe 6 months before. You know, curiosity is always there. I think that's kind of the conscious reason, you know, hey, my social curiosity, But there's other stuff.
Yeah, it's Rise Above Radio on KOKC. That's Jason Franks. Chris Goodson joined us as well. You know, I was talking to somebody also just kind of about, you know, you never know somebody's story, man. We all have a story. And even if it's like, you know, what this particular conversation was about bullying, and it was like, well, you don't know what that person's going through and stuff too. But, yeah, I have a friend of mine who wrote a book, right? And it's a great book. It's called Forgiven. And he was raised by an alcoholic parent. His mom was an alcoholic, and she passed away. Complications due to, you know, a long-term life in alcoholism and everything. But he, growing up as a kid, he's like, there was so much animosity and anger and frustration. Why was I not enough? And, you know, you didn't come to my baseball games. You didn't do this. You didn't do that. And so the book called Forgiven is about how he learned how to forgive her and then forgive himself. But when he started to write the book, he did the research for it, and then he found out her why, and he never knew her why.
Yeah.
He never knew the trauma that she had experienced, and that, you know, it all kind of trickled over into, and that goes to show you that he was affected. You know, it's funny, in the middle of the addictions, I'm only hurting myself. No, man, it's a family disease. You're hurting all kinds of people, man. Yeah. How do you, on that note, how do you encourage people, like Chris, chime in too, like the guilt that we carry from the way that we used to do things? You know what I mean? Like the trouble that we put loved ones through. And I want to cover codependency also too, because I think it's an important thing. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, just thinking about this, you know, my mom, she's a strong woman. You know, I put both my parents through a lot, you know, a whole lot. And, you know, just going through my addiction, you know, she continued to express that love, you know, to me. And, you know, it's sometimes we don't really realize who we're affecting, especially in the midst of that addiction, you know. And, you know, there's many times when I was just tired. I was so tired. I was tired of being tired, and I was tired of the person I was. Yeah. And I would just see my parents broken. You know, I see my mom broken. You know, I mean, my other family members broken. I mean, but it sucks you into a point to where you don't care. I mean, all I cared about was getting high.
Right. Yeah.
That was it. You know, that's all I cared about. You know, and I had no liking for people whatsoever. And it's just, you know, it's amazing that when you transition into, you know, a life of recovery, and you're allowing, to me, you know, I allow God to fill in those gaps. And so He's became my want and my need and my feel, but He's given me such a raw passion to actually care.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to thank Him for all the time, because I used to not be a person who cared.
Right.
But now I am.
Yeah.
And there's this debt that I owe to Him now for changing my life, and then I can do, you know, just like what I'm doing today, and just letting people know, like, hey, it's okay. You know, and all people want, they just, you know, like I said about love earlier, people just want somebody to be open ears. You know, when you can sit down with someone and have that relational connection to where I don't even have to say too much. I just let people talk.
Right, yeah.
You know, they want a friend.
Yeah.
You know, people want people in their lives that actually care.
Yeah.
And that's what's been a change for me. And, you know, I'm connected at Destiny Church, and you know, it's a family for me. You know, I have brothers and sisters in Christ that, you know, God's just really blessed me with, and they're my family.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
Man.
It's relationships.
You know, you were sitting there, I was thinking, if you put us three cats like somewhere in a bar, the difference between the content of the conversation would be, you know, like I would be telling you, if I was the GM of the Colts, who I would take number 1 in the draft. Nobody cares. It's not important. You know, so the cool thing is being in recovery, and my buddy Brian Anderson from Rob's Ranch, he says that you get to really we have to get to cut out all the
surface.
Yes, all that stuff, and build real relationships.
Yeah.
And this is where you hear, like, me too, man.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah, the putting the family or the loved ones through a lot of stuff, man, and the fact that it's literally a hijacking of our brain when we're in the middle of it. I mean, right, Jason? it's how could they do that? Well, they weren't thinking. I was a man of a lot of intention, but not much execution. But like I was telling somebody one day, like, well, they say they didn't mean to drink all the liquor. Well, of course not. I mean, if you put a handle of something in front of me, are you going to drink all that? I don't know. And then I will, but I'm not going to tell. It's the intention. But just like it is any you put the first coin in the slot, and you take the first drink, you take the first pill, whatever it is. That's your dopamine's reacting, and then, man, off we go, right?
Yeah. Well, and one of the things, we just recently attended the Oklahoma Association for Compulsive and Problem Gambling. That's the association here we have in the state to battle compulsive gambling. They have an annual conference, and we were there a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that they were describing and talking about was that the dopamine release, the high from gambling is more anticipatory. It's more of the build-up. You know what I mean? With substances, that's there. I think we all know that. You anticipate what you're going to go do, but you do still get the end result of the chemical entering your body and the high. But I mean, a lot of the high for gambling, what they were kind of teaching us that day was it's anticipatory. Right. There's a dissociation at the beginning where, sometimes gamblers will wake up in the casino like, how'd I get here, almost. But kind of go on autopilot on the way, just get so excited and dissociate. But I mean, it's almost like the activity is the end. The high comes in, I'm going to go, I'm going to win, and it just all that kind of fantasy stuff. So
yeah. Man, you were just nailing right there how we had a caller in the afternoon show. We were talking about addiction and everything, and this guy was pretty adamant about it. It's a choice, man. It's not a disease or anything. It's but where you're explaining that, man, it would be just like we've had the Oklahoma eating disorders on before, and so it would be just like the excitement, the anticipation of driving, let's say, to go get something that you're trying to not eat or whatever. I don't care what it is. It's that moment it's the excitement. Just like it was when I'm thinking about, for me, I looked forward to, I was excited to get to the liquor store, man. And I'd be getting there as fast as I can.
Yeah. It's like a hunting and gathering mission.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the limbic system, the midbrain is part of its job is to be involved in some more of that survival type, behavior. Yeah. And that's almost the hijack is, you get convinced in one way or another that like that's part of your survival.
Right.
Like it's pushing your responsible brain is not really in that mix. Yeah. Because if it was, that might change things.
Right.
But it's almost like this primal push to get what you need.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know, it's hard to fight that. And that's the disease part. But it's hard for some to understand.
It's probably the same, Chris. I'm thinking like what started out maybe as the social, it ends up being the survival drinker. I mean, like for me, it would be drinking was sort of alcohol was a bonding element, especially I got it, and in radio is not the reason why. I'm not saying that. Just like Jason, you would say a band wasn't the reason why that you started drinking. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it was a convenient part of it, but still, but it was like a social lubricant. It was a bonding element. But it was always kind of, and then at the end, when I'm on my couch drinking 5 days in a row in my pajamas and sick every 5 minutes or so, I can't hold anything down, but I'm still doing it. Then that's the survival part.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. It becomes very psychological. I was talking to this spiritual counselor one time, and he said something that really just made a lot of sense to me. And just talking about the dependency factor when it comes to using drugs and anything else. There's this habitual state that really takes place in our brains, and and of course whenever you step into using narcotics or anything that brings dependency, a lot of people, they quit using it, they get sick. Alcohol, you can get sick. I've had people go through, I know people that went through withdrawals just from drinking alcohol. So when you recover and you're sober, there's we all know about triggers, but there's that psychological imbalance in our brains from the use of drugs and alcohol or any other addiction that really never leaves. And so when this counselor told me this, he said he said the problem's always going to be there. It'll never go away. Because me, I get sober, and I still had a lot of problems. I was struggling. I still struggle today, and I've been sober since 2011.
Right.
So it never goes away. But he says when you practice the steps, to get better, you just learn how to cope with it in different ways. And that, to me, it's, I gotta lean on the Lord for that.
Yeah.
He gives me my strength, and I'm just thankful that He's available for that, because, man, I mean, I can be a mess.
Oh, man. Look, we live in for me, it was like, I want it now. And that's the addict mentality. Like, I don't care if it's like, it's so funny to recognize it, like, oh man, I want this new supplement now.
Yeah.
I want it now. It's like 3 days to get here. I want it now. I want to join the gym now. I want to do this now. But to be able to just get out of the way, man. Yeah. It's Rise Above Radio, 95.3 FM, 1520 AM. We're KOKC here in Oklahoma City. You can check us out on the iHeart app, also on Facebook Live, KOKC Radio. We're going to be joined by Catherine on the other side of the break from Arizona. It's the Gambling Addiction Awareness Month is March, but we are glad you're here, man. If you want to chime in, 405-478-1520. We're back after this quick break on KOKC.
KOKC, Oklahoma City.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk, or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911. KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your healthcare? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
363. That's 800-445-6363. 800-445-6363. Or go to selectquote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
For stress, anxiety, irritability, or depression, stop at Meridian Avenue Nutrition, 1321 North Meridian Avenue. You'll find the best quality L-tryptophan, 5-HTP, and CBD oils. For pain, inflammation, nerve, or joint health, try UltraCur, UltraHemp, and UltraCur Pro, a new form of curcumin developed and made right in OKC. And for your dog, try Ultra Canine. Stop at Meridian Avenue Nutrition, 1321 North Meridian Avenue, or call 943-6000 or 800-221-4973.
On 866-530-5662. This is Rise Above Radio on KLKC.
All right, welcome back into the show. 405-478-1520. Also, KOKC Radio on Facebook, man. It's Mac Mullings, and I'm joined by Jason Franks, Chris Goodson in studio, and we've got Catherine Lyon calling in from just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. She's an author. She is an advocate for recovery. She is a rock star in the cause and everything, and she's calling in because, March is Gambling Awareness Month. And, Catherine, we've been talking about how here we are, March Madness, and there's casinos here in Oklahoma,
and casinos here in Arizona.
Right, and you live fairly close to a place called Las Vegas, and so anyway, it's just, it's one of those deals, but more, and it doesn't matter, I mean, if you're playing the slots, playing the poker games, or gambling on sports betting and all kinds of stuff, man. It would all be linked together, right? I mean, that's the whole idea.
It is. It's whatever your preference is. Look, we know that the cycle of addiction, no matter what the addiction, gambling, drugs, alcohol, it's all the same. It's the same bad habits, the same bad behaviors we learn,
right?
And it just carries from one addiction to another. And I was listening to your guests, and I apologize. Tell me the young man's name again.
I got Chris Goodson here. I'm going to go, Jason, no offense to you, brother, but Chris Goodson. And then there's Jason. Jason's got a couple of years on Chris, so.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. I was really relating, I believe is it Chris that has gambling? Was talking about gambling?
About the, right, Chris, a little bit?
Yeah. It all that resonated with me, and he's exactly right. As far as the anticipation, our adrenaline, what is it called? I'm not good at words. Endorphins and all. There's so many misconceptions and myths about gambling addiction and problem gambling. That's out there, and people don't really realize it is a very dangerous addiction. It is currently right now the number one addiction claiming lives by suicide.
Yep.
And that's combined over drugs and alcohol.
Oh, man. See, I can believe that.
Any other addictions, porn, all of it.
The first time I went to Vegas, and I'm not picking on Vegas or anything, I'm just saying the first time I ever went, we walked into the casino and there was a dude sleeping with his sport coat over his face, sleeping on a bench like outside of the Subway. And I went, wow.
Yeah.
Out of a Subway restaurant, yeah.
And I was like, wow.
It happens.
Yeah, but I've seen it. I've seen it before, man. A buddy of mine sat at the table and watched somebody lose $25,000 in an hour and a half. 90 minutes is sitting there, and they tried to tell this cat, "Hey, man, it's like 3 a.m. You should go up. Is anybody here with you?" And so the guy, he was like, by the time he was done, he lost $25,000.
Yeah.
And the dealer's not going to say anything.
No.
Well, here's one of the number one facts is people think it's a financial problem. It's not a financial problem. It's an actual illness. It's a disease. It's cunning, and it's claiming lies. It's touching all communities across America. And now with having more venues and options of gambling, like you're saying, March Madness, right now, many states besides Nevada is not the only one that has, online now legal gambling.
Yeah.
That's a big game changer because now it's going to touch our high schoolers and our college kids.
Yep.
17 plus million people just in the U.S. alone are problem gamblers. Half that number, parents, please hear me, are your kids. Are your college kids? Are your high schoolers? It's touching all of us.
Yeah,
and it's ruining families.
It is. As you were talking, Catherine joins us from outside Phoenix. As you were talking, I was thinking, that guy I talked to before. I met him in a meeting, and he talked about how he had even if it was just gambling, betting on the game. Oh, the OU's going to win the national championship, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Losing money there, and then betting on Super Bowl, losing money there, losing money here, and then also legislation. I know in New Jersey, the sports betting.
Yeah. Yes, that was another game changer, and now other states. See, I've been here in Arizona. I live just right outside Phoenix, and I know there's Indian casinos everywhere and all that, but we moved here about 5 years ago for my husband's work. And we lived for about 26 years in Southern Oregon. Southern Oregon, here's the problem. Not only is there online gambling, and then you have all the tribal Indian casinos expanding, but now you have all of the states' lotteries. And where I came from, Oregon, they introduced in, I believe it was around 96, video poker machines. And then just not too long ago, I'd say probably within the last 10 years, they added slot-style games to those video poker machines. So it's not just the casinos and online gambling, it's also state lotteries.
Right, yeah.
And here's my problem with that. Where are the profits going? We see the commercials that say it's keeping our parks clean. Portions of the profits are going to schools. Then why are our rural schools still closing? Mm-hmm. Where is the money going? There has to be some accountability, just like with alcohol. They cannot serve someone if they look, inebriated. They have that right. Well, let me tell you a quick story. One of the places that when I got hooked with the video poker machines and the slot machines in Oregon, I was at a bar. And I just happened to stop in there on my way home from work. A lady was sitting next to me at a machine. She went to the ATM machine and took out, money, kept going back and forth. Okay, finally the machine said, you met your limit. Okay, she goes up to the bar owner. He starts taking checks.
Yeah, spot me for it. Yeah, right.
Yep, and she sat next to me and said, oh, my gosh, my husband's going to kill me. I've written about $1,000 worth of checks.
Oh, yeah.
My jaw dropped. Now, within my addiction, I did the same thing.
Right.
Did it, been there, done that.
As you're saying that, it makes me think, somebody might be like, oh, I'd never do that. How many times, and I know for me, I know the answer, but how many times have you gone to a bar and sat there and there's that little touchscreen game in front of me. Well, I'll just see what's on there, man. I can actually pick the music for the jukebox on it. I can actually do this and that. Oh, well, this game looks interesting, and boom. You may not bite the bait, but then again, that's the way you could get sucked in for it. Yeah.
It is. It is. And, everybody, may be different. Look, do I think gambling needs to be banned? Would that ever happen?
Right.
For one. But no, it doesn't need to be banned because it wouldn't be fair to the people who can gamble normally and for the fun and entertainment for a few hours.
Yeah.
Like the gentleman said, when you walk into a casino, how do you feel? You feel like you're in a dream world.
Yeah.
It's why they pump oxygen in there. It's why there is no clocks or windows. They do it because they're sucking you in. They want you to stay there and continue, and it doesn't matter whether you win or whether you lose, that you get hooked. Because if you win, then our addicted minds think, oh, wow, we're going to win more, or we're going to win every time we go.
Right.
If you lose, you become addicted or a problem gambler. You're going to keep going out, and even frequently, I could tell you I could walk across the street in Oregon to a bar and gamble on the machines. I could walk up a block. I could walk up 2 blocks. It's everywhere. And you get sucked in because then I was going 2, 3, 4 times a day chasing the money I lost.
Exactly. You say when you walk into a casino, how do you feel? I would hear this when I...
Right?
I don't know if that's...
Start dancing.
Yeah,
and,
right.
And you feel, it makes you feel, like you're, like he said, in a dream world, a fantasy.
Right.
All these wonderful things are going to happen. You're going to hit a jackpot or whatever.
Right. You kind of start to put together the plan.
Start to connect. Yeah. Yes, you connect it. And again, I know there's people that can go out and gamble normally. Sure. I can't do it. I'm an addict. I have the addict disease to thinking and thoughts, and I can't. I cannot do it. And there's lots of places that if you really want to see how gambling is affecting and impacting your communities, you can stop at stoppredatorygambling.org is one of the resources I use to do a lot of my research. You can pop in what state you live in, then you can pop in what county you're in.
Nice.
And it will tell you how gambling is I don't feel that it's predatory, but come on, we know that casinos and the lottery and online gaming, we know how the tactics that they're using to draw people in. And so there is help, there is hope. Another good resource is the National Council on Problem Gambling. They are the ones I'm blogging all month for March. Problem Gambling Awareness Month is all of March, and you're right, they do it in March for a reason, because of March Madness.
Yeah.
And basketball. I'm not big on sports, but we don't really realize how prevalent gambling is in our society.
Right.
I mean, look, Gamblers Anonymous constitutes gambling, even just flipping a coin. But look, what do high school kids do for their proms to raise money? Casino night.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Raffles in our elementary schools. That a raffle is still taking a risk or chance.
You know what? You when you were saying, like you said, the lottery. And I know, just backtrack really fast, I know the question here is, and I'm not going to speak on it, I'm not really informed on the deal, but I know co-hosting the afternoon show, a lot of the questions we get is, wait, I thought it was going to help education. Then why do we in this hole again? Why did the education, the budget, yada, yada, yada? So there's a part of what you were kind of talking about is, where's the funds going? Where are they helping out? We had the American Gaming Association on the afternoon show, and I asked them, I told them that Oklahoma, number 7 in the country, according to a publication, the gambling addiction, and how do they bring awareness to it and help combat that? Now, he said he gave, it was a good answer. I was pleased with it. On the website there, American Gaming Association, there's different resources and things like that. But,
right.
What you were saying also, Kat, it made me remember a story. When I worked in Tulsa at this radio station, we had a wheel that you would spin. And so it was, like red, green, blue, yellow, whatever. And so it had numbers. And in theory, you would say, oh, it's going to land on 12. And then if it landed on 12, then you won, whatever CD or whatever we had at the time. Kind of a simple concept. You lose. We would do a remote or like an appearance out at a casino, and I will never forget the time it was in Fort Cobb, Oklahoma, that's up there in green country, near Tulsa and stuff. And people were fascinated by trying to figure out the system on this wheel.
Right.
And it was like it landed on an even number, so it's going to land on an odd, and it was comical to me then, like, good grief, dude, maybe you should go home. But that's you know what I mean? Kind of like thinking about it now, brain, man, it was just trying to figure it out, man.
Well, I can tell you, I was invited in late 2016 by Mia, trying to think of her last name. Amazing writer for Time Magazine and a couple others, and she interviewed me for a few hours. She was doing a write-up. That was the other thing I was going to say about the gentleman when he said about anticipation. That is so true. She named this article that she did. It's now in Nautilus, U.S., I believe. It's about neuroscience, the brain, how we think and, everything. And it was called Addicted to Anticipation is what you can Google it. And she I learned a lot. It's a long article, but it's an amazing article. And, she had asked me certain questions. And, for me, I think because I am a writer, I write for some publications and that it's, and I am also duly diagnosed, which means I maintain recovery. I just celebrated January 29th, my 12th year in recovery.
Wow, it's awesome.
From gambling and alcohol. Yeah. It wasn't the alcohol, though. When you peel the layers of the onion,
sure.
it was the gambling addiction. But I do suffer from agoraphobia and severe depression.
Right.
And when I first started treatment, after my first suicide attempt, which, to let you know, 1 in 5 gamblers will try suicide. And that is why it's the number one addiction right now, claiming lives by suicide. The hopelessness.
Yeah.
Anyways, she was doing the article, and she asked me, she said, what was one of the worst things that you think you had done? And, while within your addiction. And I said, you want to really know the truth? And it's embarrassing, but I can laugh about it now.
Spill the beans, man.
Years.
What is it?
She said, what was it? I said, believe it or not, and especially with gambling being so sociably acceptable, it's not a sociable game when you become addicted.
Right.
It is, you don't want nobody to bother you. Hey, look, I've been in casinos where one lady had a heart attack, like three seats down, and I didn't even know.
Right.
I was oblivious. But I would actually wear the women's Depends, bladder control.
Right. So you didn't have to get up. Yeah.
So I didn't have to leave that machine if I was winning.
Right.
That's how sick I was within my addiction.
Right. Yeah.
Just sick. It's a disease. And we have to treat it as a disease. And it's still so silent. Here's what cracks me up, like you were talking about when you were doing the radio spot. How many times I can't tell you that I meet people and whatever, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, oh, my mother has a gambling problem. Oh, I think my aunt has a gambling problem. Oh yeah, my grandmother, she goes to bingo. Look, where the profits are going, Mac? The profits are going from whether it's casinos, the state lottery, and whatever. The profits are being made off of the backs of people that cannot afford to lose money. It's the not once in a while grandma going to play bingo.
Right.
It is the people who are problem gamblers and addicted gamblers.
Right.
That's where the money's coming from.
You're making me think it's the it's John and Jane Doe, where he does manual labor and has 3 kids, but he can't. You know what I mean? Like, you just kind of picture and imagine the scenario. Yeah, yeah.
Check this out. I was doing just some facts, and I forgot about Super Bowl. And just this year's Super Bowl that just happened, over 23 million Americans bet on that Super Bowl.
Wow.
And just to estimate estimated amount of money on the Super Bowl for 2019 was $6 billion changed hands.
Yeah.
Just think about what good that money could do.
Right.
We can't get our government to fund more treatment programs and, rehab, detox. And look, addicted gamblers, we go through a detox. We go through withdrawals, just like a drug addict and an alcoholic. I had it all. Severe headaches, stomach upset, sick.
Nerves,
they say dope sick, You're taking my medicine away. Of course I'm going to go through a withdrawal. Wow. These are some of the misconceptions that people don't realize about gambling addiction. We go through the same process.
Did you grieve? Did you grieve because you were losing a relationship? Essentially, like for me with alcohol, I was breaking up. It was almost like a grieving of a relationship, man.
Well, actually, yeah, and I grieved for a whole year.
Yeah.
I had began I began my recovery, and when I was about 2 years in. That's how actually my book came to be, Addicted to Dimes, Confessions of a Liar and a Cheat. You can find it on Amazon, but how that happened was all God intervention, seriously. I happened to read a little article about a lady that shot herself at the casino that I had been hundreds of times just up north from my house in Grants Pass, Oregon. And they never print stuff like that. You will never see it in the newspaper. Unless you're a high-profile person or whatever, you might catch something like that on the national news, things like that. But they never tell you about gambling addiction or suicides,
Right.
And I read this little article. This newspaper actually put it in and explained, and she shot herself. She was supposed to be at a conference, and she ended up going to the casino for the weekend instead. Mm-hmm. There was a note left behind, and tears were coming down my eyes as I was reading this article, because I knew exactly how she felt. I'd been there twice. Gambling cost me way more than money. It almost cost me my life twice.
That's a great way to put it. That's how
because I was so hopeless and in such a dark place, and so they wrote about it. And so right after I read it, I called my husband. I said, "You need to stop at Walmart and bring me some, the cheap spiral little notebooks."
Right.
And it lit a fire in me. I had to see in between the lines of paper, on paper, what gambling took from me. Everything that happened to me, and how it devastated my life, and I purged and healed and wrote for almost a little over a year, and then I happened to write a newspaper letter to the editor, and a friend of mine called and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know your letter's going to be in the paper," and I said, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, "Gosh, your voice sounds familiar." And she's like, "Yeah." She said, "Yours too." Well, I used to wait on her at the bank.
Really?
That I used to work at. And so she took these notebooks she asked to read because her grandmother had a gambling problem, and the same with the lottery machines. And she took all my notebooks. There were 6.5 notebooks. She put it in a book manuscript. She edited it and everything, and called me 2 weeks later and said, "I hope you don't mind, but this has to be out as a book." And I said, "What do you mean?" Because that was like never on my radar.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And she said, "I hope you don't mind, but I have a friend who's a local publisher," and I sent him the first 70 pages. As soon as I got back from picking up the manuscript and that, I had a message from him saying, the same thing. This needs to be out. This can help people.
Right.
Now, my book, I just want to be clear, is not I do share resources, but it's not about how to recover.
Right.
It is my story and memoir about how the roots and the underlying issues that had me turn to gambling addiction.
Right. It's your, you said memoirs. It's your story about, how.
Yeah. I am a childhood sex abuse survivor, and I know that, through treatment and therapy and counseling and all, I love Celebrate Recovery, by the way. I know one of them mentioned Celebrate Recovery.
Jason, yeah.
I love it. And by the grace of God, I heard him the second time. They say that you can hear God when he talks to you. Mm-hmm. And he whispered in my ear the last time he pulled me from that edge of darkness and said, "It is not your time. You have more work to do. Wow. I have taught you lessons. You have gone on this journey and detour of negative. I'm going to bring you blessings out of this negative, and you are going to help people." He said, "It's not your time."
Isn't that something, man? I mean, we
it is just, you know what? I would not be here if it wasn't for my faith, if it wasn't for God and for him sending his son to be crucified on the cross. Shed his blood for all of humanity so we all could have a second chance.
Yeah.
And I get choked up, and I'm sorry, because today my family still does not understand this concept. I've not spoken to my father in 14 years, nor my two sisters, because they don't understand about mental health, and they don't understand how people can change their lives, come out the other side, and help others have hope.
Yeah. That's one of the unfortunate things is not only just the stigma, but sort of the hypocrisy part to it,
Yep.
Flawed.
It's the stigma. It's still stigma.
Yeah.
There's you've probably been seeing me post some things. I know that I'm, helping Big Jim's walk and ride around America is how we met. And, it's true. There's a disturbing trend happening right now with high-profile advocates. Mm-hmm. Look, my story and sharing hope will never be for sale.
Right.
Never. And a lot of these high-profile people are putting themselves on this place called Cameo and, all the Facebook Lives they do and all this. But you know what's happening? They're not completing the inner work and character defects that we need to do through our recovery work to get out of ego and self.
Right.
And I can tell you, ego is very big with gambling addiction.
Yeah. Somebody said your ego is not your amigo. Right on, man. Or like Rick Warren's, Saddleback Church, I think it's what it's called. But yeah, he says ego is edging God out,
Mm-hmm. It is. Yes. You're absolutely spot on.
And I see
it's sad. It's sad because it's deteriorating America's family values.
Right.
And that's why addiction and the enemy is able to come in and devastate these families.
Yeah.
That's why even Christians, look, we all bleed red. We're all human. Somebody might have more money than another. Then you know what? Turn around and do something good with that money.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right.
People.
Yeah.
Help people. That's what God expects us to do. It's what the Word teaches us. Help people. People are dying out here.
I know for me, one of the kind of the eye-opening things was, communities are all cool and everything, but just be really, really aware of when a community becomes a clique, man, because then it can take away the whole message is all lost, And you and I were texting back and forth the other day, Catherine, and for like Rise Above or for this and everything, it's got to be about the message and not the merchandise, man. I mean,
You're
we
exactly
see that
right.
constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to be very, very careful, but I think the people who have been with me, I've been blogging now for six and a half years on WordPress. My recovery I get choked up. My recovery blog is Gambling Recovery Starts Here. You can find me on WordPress. Just Google Catherine Townsend Lyon, and it'll pop up. I've been recovering. I've been blogging now, and I am blogging all month long for March awareness of problem gambling. But the people that have connected with me through social media and all, they know me. They know my heart, and they know that I don't sugarcoat recovery.
Right.
I don't sugarcoat addiction. I speak from the heart. I write from the heart. You can also follow my column, which is a free publication, and I always love to plug them. It's called Keys to Recovery Newspaper. Jeannie and Marcus Marshall, they are angels and godsend, because they gave me my own column a year and a half ago called Quit to Win. They, are brave and courageous in giving the platform to be able to write about gambling addiction every month. It's a monthly publication. You can go there and have them mailed to you and to your recovery groups and, AA, GA, because they talk about all addictions. And it's a fantastic recovery resource, and they have great articles. Keys to Recovery Newspaper.
Nice. Okay.
And, I'm real. I'm raw and very unpolished, because I don't think there's no lighter side to gambling addiction.
Right.
There just isn't. There's no lighter side to addiction and recovery at all.
Right.
Not when you have people out here dying.
Right. That's Catherine Lyon joining us on Rise Above Radio just outside of Phoenix. We'll take a quick break. We also have Jason Franks and Chris Goodson in studio. And Chris Freeman from SoberWorks, man. He's going to check in from the UK. You know Chris Freeman? Do you know him, Catherine?
Yes, I'm so excited to finally say hello to him.
Yeah, he's going to check in.
SoberWorks. I support them 110%.
Oh, yeah, it's a great site. So he's calling in from the UK. But quick break, and we're back after this on KOKC.
I want to stand up.
Radio's new generation, KOKC.
With spring right around the corner, now is the best time to consider membership at the Greens Country Club. Members at the Greens enjoy no minimums and no assessments while engaging in an array of activities on and off the course. Enroll now in golf, tennis, or social and receive significant savings on your joining fee. Whether you're looking to play golf on our renovated championship layout, hone your tennis skills in our 6 indoor and outdoor tennis courts, stick to your New Year's resolution in our fitness center, or lounge poolside this spring and summer, the Greens offers something for the whole family. Looking to connect with others in the community? The club offers a wide variety of social events for all ages, including wine paired dinners, family game nights, networking events, kids night out, and so much more. The all-new Twisted Oak Tavern provides exceptional farm-to-table food and specialty cocktails in a stylish new environment. We boast the #1 tennis program in the state, host an array of organized leagues and events on and off the course, and most importantly, continue to invest in the future of the club. Enroll between now and April 1st and save as much as $2,500. For more info or to schedule a tour, contact the membership department at 405-751-6266 or visit thegreenscc.com.
At Mill Creek Carpet and Tile, they believe a healthy family and clean home is everything. They also know that older floors often host pesky germs and allergens, which is why they want to help you take your spring cleaning to the next level with Shaw Luxury Vinyl Plank Floors. Waterproof, scratch-proof, and spring clean-approved flooring, perfect for keeping your home crisp, clean, and beautiful this spring. Visit Mill Creek Carpet and Tile at their Stillwater location for an in-home measure and design consultation on the house.
What happened? You used to go hours without visiting the bathroom. Now it seems like you're constantly getting up to pee, and you're even getting up at night to go. This is not okay. Listen, the makers of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 prostate formula, are introducing a new wonder pill, Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced, with 3 key ingredients that are great for your prostate. It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one. To celebrate, we're sending free bottles to men who want to cut down on bathroom trips. Yes, your first 30-day supply is free. Pay shipping and handling. Call 1-800-255-3377. Early research suggests that an ingredient in P3 Advanced may help support a normal prostate size. Combine that with a reduction in urges to pee, and you have a formula you'd be crazy not to try. Get P3 Advanced free. Call 1-800-255-3377. 1-800-255-3377. 1-800-255-3377.
Longtime Oklahoma City Police Athletic League supporter Sam Presti, general manager of the OKC Thunder, is the keynote speaker at the inaugural Time Out for PAL charity luncheon on March 27th at St. Luke's United Methodist Church. All proceeds benefit OKC PAL, whose mission is COPS, helping kids succeed with athletic leagues, mentoring, and proven character building programs. Tables and tickets are still available, but selling quickly. For more info, go to okcpal.org or call Nicole at 405-706-7484.
It's Mark Bravo here for the Marathon Minute, and I have with me today Sam Mays, a radio personality with Tyler Media, host of the Triple M Ranch. Sam, great to get to visit with you again. We don't do it that often.
Yeah, no question. I'm excited to be here and obviously talking about something that is about as a unique sporting experience as I've ever had. The Oklahoma City Marathon is incredible.
You shared with me where you've come on this couple of year journey or so. Down 180 pounds roughly.
I thought, why not run the half marathon? And this is a 400-pound man thinking he's going to get out there and run 13 miles, but through some great support from the marathon, some great support from some businesses here in Oklahoma City that are involved with the marathon, I found a way to train and get myself to the shape I need to be in to run 13 miles, and it was one of my greatest sports accomplishments.
Sam Mays, Triple M Ranch host, thanks so much for being a part of this race once again.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
All right, Mark Bravo for the Marathon Minute.
It's time to rise above. Be a part of Rise Above Radio at 405-478-1520 and 1-866-530-5662. This is Rise Above Radio on KOKC.
All right, welcome back into the show. Also, Facebook Live, KOKC Radio. Rise Above Radio with Mac Mullins. If you dig it, fan the page and spread the word out, man. That's all we're trying to do. Hope to inspire, not impressed. And we got two champions on the phone here. We got Catherine in from outside of Phoenix. Catherine is an author. Hey, give me what's the site again where you blog and everything, Kat?
It is, excuse me, it's actually, you can, the HTTP whatever.
Yeah.
It's Catherine Lyon, addictedtodimes.wordpress.com. I actually just put it up on Facebook page.
Nice.
In there. And I also shared Stop Predatory Gambling. And I will make sure I put a couple more resources up there for people who would like to get some help if they need it from problem gambling and gambling addiction,
right, yeah.
Like the National Council of Problem Gambling. Yeah. So sorry, I didn't mean to get so choked up.
No, man, I'll tell you what. The second show that we did. We had a guy on who had been in and out of incarceration. He hadn't talked to his mom in over a decade, man. The dude, he cooked it, he dealt it, he smoked it. I mean, whatever it was, right? And his mom got wind of him being on the show, and she called in from Florida, and they had a conversation for the first time in over a decade. Wow. And 2 months later, she flew into town and saw his newborn baby and everything, man. Wow. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's amazing.
Right? So that's like, this show is, we're not fake here, man. We are not fake. And I've had, when I try to book the guests and stuff, man, nothing will make me go, never mind, it's okay. Faster than when somebody says, what kind of exposure can I get? Never mind, bro. Or I had somebody, because I'll follow pages, and I reached out to say, hey, I'd love to have share your story on Facebook. And for the first time ever, man, somebody told me my story, that she replied to me and said, my story is not free. And I went, do what now? And she said, it's going to cost you. And so I went, I'll call you, don't call me. No, you know what I mean? Like, man,
I've had a few of those. Yeah, they catch me on LinkedIn. They want you to pay to play, and Cat don't do that.
Right. Or like, I think I messaged you. It's just, man, we got to be transparent here. Because my thing is, if I'm not transparent and honest, then I'm not doing recovery. I'm just blowing smoke, man. So you'll never hear. We don't live behind some facade. I eventually got fatigued from my facade, so we just try to be real and transparent. And I know this guy Chris does as well. Chris, checking in from the UK, dude. He's a busy cat, huh? Pun intended. He has SoberWorks, the website and everything.
Hi, Chris. It's so nice to finally meet you and say hello.
Yeah, it's been about 5 years since we kind of crossed paths back when I was living in Houston.
Yeah, I think so. But hey, just let you know, I 110% support everything. Love my sober works.
Yeah, and the thing that I wanted to call in about was I don't think I've covered this with you, Mac, but in 1993 and 1994, I worked in Reno, Nevada, and I was one of the main cashiers at Harrah's Casino, and I got to do those. I was the guy behind the dealers, and I would write markers for people, and I got to watch it happen right in front of me, and it was, you know. Back in those days, I really didn't care much for helping people, but it was my business to make sure that they were taken care of. And I watched these guys go through everything. And then another job I had was right across the street from there. I worked in a pawn shop, and I would watch these folks come in there and take their wedding rings off and put them on the counter. And we could not say anything to these folks.
Right.
We had to accept it. The pawn shop, you have to take in what they're bringing you. And it was just, that made me feel really, really bad. But what happened to me in Reno was I started to gamble myself, and I replaced my cocaine addiction with my gambling addiction. And when I sat at those tables, and I would mainly play roulette, if I ever hit big, like, if I played the numbers inside, they would pay off 35 to 1. And let's say I had $100 on one number and it hit, a $3,500 hit would be just like a big shot of cocaine, exactly identical.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And the addiction process that goes on in my brain, it doesn't matter whether I'm addicted to Twinkies. If it gets that off, it's going to get me, right? But one thing I've noticed that a lot of, in fact, the research that has been done in the past talks about that a lot of people with alcohol abuse problems also have gambling problems, because it's and other substance abuse problems too, because it's the same function inside our little minds that are being rewarded, and it's that addiction to that reward, and it's like, wow. So if you're treating one and not the other, well, guess what's going to happen to you? Something's going to come back on the back end of it and get you. You might not be drinking for a year, but if you're gambling, you're getting the same dopamine hit as you got from the drugs and the alcohol.
Right. Yeah.
I consider a guy in recovery from drinking and drugging, and if he's out there gambling, I don't consider him in recovery. I'm not saying that going and buying a scratch card is a big deal, but when it starts interfering with a person's life, their finance, their family, their career, and all the other social things, that becomes a problem. But for me personally, it was a big, big problem. It destroyed the marriage I had to a beautiful woman. I ended up leaving Reno with a cast on. 1-800-CALL-MOM went back to Houston, and within 2 weeks, I'm back in the bars drinking again. And within another month, I got another DWI. And it just went on from there. That was 1995. But I'm so glad that you got on board with us here, Catherine. It's such a nice thing to hear you, and I've been reading your stuff for years. And Keys to Recovery magazine, those guys are great. If anybody out there wants to call those guys, they will ship to you 50 copies of their newspaper every month, and you can distribute them around your town. You take them anywhere you want, coffee shops, recovery organizations, and other places like that. Sober homes.
Wow. Yeah, that's
full
awesome.
of great stuff. I've actually had an article published in there a long time ago.
Right.
Well, you should still keep writing, Chris. You have lots and lots of experience, strength, and hope to be sharing. And I'm really I'm excited that they gave me the platform to be able to, talk about, because, look, gambling is still such a silent underground addiction, and it requires no substance, and it's just as dangerous.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah.
The casinos are big time drug dealers.
Well, it is becoming more prevalent sitting in the rooms, and, I suffer with agoraphobia, so I do a lot like my church live feed. I do my Gamblers Anonymous meetings, thankfully, is online now. The Internet's changed the face of recovery. It really has.
Yeah.
It's really enhanced and helped many people who, I like to recover out loud, as Big Jim says, but a lot of people want to stay anonymous.
Right. She's Big Jim. She's talking about Jim Downs, man, who actually, man, he's a rock star. This guy's literally riding. It's like a recumbent bike, but he already walked across America. He's biking across, but it's all in the name of recovery and awareness. But he's going to the state capitol in every state, the Capitol building. Yeah, man, he's a rock star. That dude,
he'll be in Austin tomorrow at the state capitol. So any recovery groups, or if you want to recover loud, you need to go out and meet Jim. I believe he's going to be there around 2:30 or so.
Yeah,
and speak. But
he's a champ, man. Hey, you know what's
he really is.
You know what's interesting? You were making me think too, because the show, it's all addiction from everything. And there was an interesting story. One time I was talking to a guy, and he's like, I don't go to OU games anymore, or college games or whatever. I don't go tailgate. And he's like, drinking was never my thing. But for him, the drinking was a trigger, and his thing was meth. And so it would, for some reason, when he started drinking, it would continue on to that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, and I think, again... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
One of my things my sponsor taught me is that, when we're drinking for that relief and that comfort. And he said, if you can't find the same relief and comfort sober,
right,
you're going to return to the drink. And what I found out is that through the process of the recovery process, and then even getting into my root core issues of my abandonment, my childhood adverse experience and stuff like that, that I've been able to actually recreate my life above and beyond the 12 steps. And it's taken me 60 years. I mean, it was only 2 years ago, Catherine, and when I moved from Houston over to California, that was the first time in my life I ever stood on my own 2 feet.
Mm-hmm.
For the first 8 years of my recovery, I was embedded into sober living homes and 12-step organizations, and I was just gently learning how to live again.
Yeah.
Because no one really ever taught me the right way to live.
Right.
I had to learn.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And you were actually...
So what I did is when I walk out, like I do these Facebook Lives now, I walk down to the seafront, and when I look out over the ocean, and I look around here in England, my new home, and I'm just full of this feeling, and it's identical to that. It's even greater than the high I would ever get from any drug.
Right.
I've done lots and lots of drugs, and I've had some really, really intense feelings, but the feeling I get from this reality that's been given to me is just amazing. And for people to become awake to that, to become awake to the spirituality of life, and that there's this force and this presence that guides us all, I think that's a big key. And many, many people don't believe in that. They just don't want to believe in it, or they're afraid of it.
Yeah.
Or they have so much guilt and shame inside of them, they don't know how to release it.
Yeah.
And hopefully, people like Mac and his buddies there, and all the people that would bring into the show, and my friends that that's what my job is. My job is to connect everybody together, and in hopes that someone finds us. And that someone out there may have a problem. They might just reach out one time, and that's all it takes. All you got to do is connect into us. And if you're connected into us, you're connected into the solution. And guys like Mac is a great example. He's been willing to take it above and beyond this little 12-step box that we all live in.
Oh, thank you, brother.
The world.
Well, man, speaking of getting in touch with you guys, so SoberWorks, they can find it. It's on Facebook and all the different pages and stuff. And then as far as Kat, give us how they can track you down on Facebook too before I cut you guys loose.
On Facebook, just put in Catherine Lyon, Addicted to Dimes, and I have a couple Facebook pages, actually. One is for my recovery. I got over 500 people that come, and for my recovery community page. And then just pop in Catherine Townsend Lyon. They'll find me.
Nice. Outstanding, man.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Thanks for joining the show. I appreciate it.
Mac, I love you, Catherine.
Thank you, Mac. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I'll be in touch, man. You guys are rock stars. Thanks for contributing.
Bye.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Yeah, man. See, that's it's funny on different sides of the spectrum, and that's how if we group together, if we all just it's all about community, man.
Yeah.
If we all group together, we can try to help this person and that person and this person. It all trickles down, man.
Connections.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah. We got about 8 minutes or so left in the show. Chris, was there any last notes you wanted to add to it?
Just for who spoke with Chris and Catherine?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's it all ties down to one thing, you know. It's you got so many people everywhere that all suffer with that one thing, and it's addiction. Can be addiction with anything, you know. I've known people addicted to food, TV. I mean, we live in a very, you know, just with all the technology and, you know, phones and everything. So, you know, just connecting with other people and finding those resources, like I said earlier, you know, about the relationships, to be able to walk out life with people. That's what it's about.
Yeah. And you nailed it right there, man. That there's so many other different ones. I mean, you know, whether it's eating or whether it's like shopping, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people when they're bummed out, what do they do? I would go belly up to a bar, but they go to a department store.
Yeah.
And walk around or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is, man, there's so many different resources out there. You're right, to get help and to get to the root of it all, man.
Yeah.
You know? I mean,
you got to get to the core.
Yeah, you do. You have to, and it's tough.
Yeah.
And it's challenging, and there's a lot of emotions involved, man. But it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it, man. I mean, I was talking to somebody just on the phone earlier today, man, and they're you know, like I am, codependent, bend over backwards, disregard well-being to try to help others, try to fix people, you know, but then taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And over and over, it's wash, rinse, repeat. Same relationship, different name, you know. Same thing, but none of that, you know, we can't do that. It's out of our control. We can't try to help other people, man.
Yeah.
We just, you know, and Jason, I'm sure that when you talk to your clients, man, if you can just focus on you, if you're sick, you can't fix other people, man. You got to focus on you, and everything else seems to fall into place.
That's right. The whole, you know, speech they give on the airplane.
Right. Exactly.
Put your air mask on first, or you're not going to be able to help anybody.
Yeah. Oh,
you know,
man.
You got to be breathing, right?
I had a counselor tell me. And just like I had earned my spots in the meeting groups and everything, man, I had earned my spots at a psychiatrist or counselor's office, man. But I used to have this really kind of sick misinterpretation of God's love. I always thought that He was going to do something to my daughter. You know what I mean? For my shortcomings. Really, it was a real thing. It scared the crap out of me, man. And that's what kind of fed my alcoholism, is that I was so uncomfortable when I was afraid that He would say, "You didn't figure it out, man. I gave you long enough. And so she's going to suffer your consequences and everything." And so, but yeah, when the counselor gave me the analogy of the mask, man, I mean, or somebody would say, "So tell me about your daughter." And oh my gosh, man, Niagara Falls, dude.
Yeah.
Because it led to I had guilt because her mom and I didn't work out. I had shame because as another divorce that I went through, and I had all these different, things that just built up, man.
Yeah.
And like Kat said, once you peel away the layers of the onion, man, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
Look, I don't have it figured out. You'll never hear me say that I have it figured out, because I'm asking for trouble.
Yeah.
And you don't have to try to figure it out all overnight, right? I mean, you got people come see you, Jason and Chris and stuff, where they're like, "Well, I got to do it now. I got to figure it out. I got to have the solution right now."
Yeah. Well, addiction itself is an instant gratification world that we get immersed in and that we learn to live in. You know, gambling, substance abuse, it's like, and even society with Amazon and microwaves.
Oh, man.
And it's like, everything is so fast now, but it's like the things I feel like that are most worthwhile, career, relationships, you know, recovery, spirituality, those are the things where we have to, you know, move towards our goal progressively and learn and do things, you know, a lifetime work.
Right.
And it's not instant gratification.
Progress by degrees.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of learning day by day and having our goals and learning from the people around us, and that's not that instant gratification world.
Right.
But it's hard to move into that when you've been immersed in that instant gratification. Give it to me now.
Right. Oh yeah, man. Yeah.
You know, there's a question that I will ask people all the time: if someone's coming for help and then they want those steps, you know, it's like, you know, you want to get fixed. You know, that's like people coming out of addictions with whatever. You want to get fixed, and there is no, you know, like what you discussed earlier about the character defects. You know, we got to get to the core of everything. And there's a question that I will always ask. Is, you know, are you willing to do whatever it takes?
Right.
Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Because there's, you know, things that I might say to people about the resources they can go to. I might invite them to church. I'll invite them to group. You know, invite them to work out. You know, whatever. And you got to be willing to do whatever it takes. And the way I see it, I did everything I could to get high. And when I was chasing that high, I would chase it as hard as I could. And why not turn that for the good now,
Exactly.
And that's what I tell people. If you're running hard for what your flesh desires, what you love, whether it be gambling, whether it be food, whether it be drugs, whether it be whatever, just flip it. Run that hard to do the good.
Yeah, maneuver your mindset, man. Put the energy in the other. Yeah. I mean, the same individual I was talking to, man, that's going through all this different stuff. They, didn't drink.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't drink, and I was like, dude, look how huge this is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm still heartbroken and everything. Okay, I get it. The feelings are there. Well, because you didn't numb them with the alcohol or whatever else it is, right? I mean, good grief, man. My dad, I told you, man, and it's part of my story. Somebody's probably like, we've heard it before, but it's such an integral part of my story, is that my dad died the day after my 1-year sobriety, man. And so, and I didn't drink, and I didn't drug, dude. And it's just because help me do the next right thing. Help me do the next right thing.
Yeah.
And
You made
that's
that
it.
choice.
Yeah.
Thankfully, when my dad passed, I was sober, and I didn't use. That was a hard let go for me,
Right.
especially not having a relationship with him. So, that's good.
Yeah.
Make a choice.
Chris Goodson, you're a rock star, brother. I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too.
I look forward to a long, lengthy bromance.
Connections.
Jason Franks, thank you, brother. Chance
No
to Change.
problem.
You guys got the event coming up. It's on, what day is it again?
March 27th, Celebration of Recovery.
And then they can find you on Facebook.
That's right.
Chance to Change. All right.
That's right.
It's Rise Above Radio. Have an awesome Saturday, man. This is what we do, dude. I love it.
Amen.
Thank you.
KOKC,
Oklahoma City, a Tyler media station reaching over 1 million Oklahomans every week.
95.3 FM and 1520 AM.
New Zealand attacks,
Get up first
airplane
thing,
disaster.
smoke a cigarette.
I'm Ann Cates.
Before lunch,
The death toll
after
has
lunch.
risen to 50
Now
in the
that I'm
deadly
talking
terrorist
about it,
attacks on 2
I'm kinda
mosques in
feeling
New
like
Zealand. New Zealand Police Commissioner Mike Bush.
I also want to say that the number of injured is also 50. 36 of those remain in Christchurch Hospital, where they are being treated with the utmost care and professionalism by medical staff. 2 do remain critical, and we also have 1 child being well looked after at Starship Hospital in Christchurch.
Investigators are looking at the similarities between the Ethiopian Airlines and Lion Air crashes and key cockpit equipment. Correspondent Oren Lieberman.
That piece, according to the New York Times, is a jack screw, and it sets the position of the stabilizer on an aircraft. It was found in a position at the crash site that would have had the stabilizer put the plane in a nose-down position. That would force an airplane to go very fast and force an airplane to dive, which right after takeoff is very unusual and very dangerous. The question, why was it in that position?
Now that President Trump has vetoed a resolution blocking his declaration of a national emergency, another battle is looming with Capitol Hill lawmakers.
It could be the president's next veto. 7 Republicans broke with the administration this week in the Senate to approve a measure that would stop U.S. military help in Yemen's civil war. It amounts to punishment for Saudi Arabia over the murder of Jamal Khashoggi. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo implored the Senate to hold off.
The way to alleviate the Yemeni people's suffering isn't to prolong the conflict by handicapping our partners in the fight, but by giving the Saudi-led coalition the support needed to defeat Iranian-backed rebels and ensure a just peace.
Acting as a counter to Iran is one of the reasons given by the administration for not punishing the Saudis and Crown Prince Mohammed directly, any more than some sanctions. Bob Costantini, Washington.
I'm Ann Cates.
What does building a better bank look like?